It just might be the greatest sports franchise in the history of sports. A place where legends are made, and there's always something to talk about. Get ready to immerse yourself in pinstripes. Start spreading the news, hosted by Paul Semendinger and E.J. Fagan, a couple of doctors with a prescription for Yankee fever. And now, here's Dr. Paul Semendinger and Dr. E.J. Fagan. Get ready to start spreading the news.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Start Spreading the News Yankees show. Just a reminder that this program is part of the wonderful Yankees site, Start Spreading the News, and it's brought to you by Artemisia Publishing, a fantastic traditional publisher located in the United States of America. And of course, as you know, they have published many of my books, including the brand new The Greatest Yankee by Uniform Number, the Motivational 365.2, Roy White's From Compton to the Bronx, The Least Among Them, and the greatest novel ever written, Scattering the Ashes. I'm rushing because EJ and I don't have an hour today. We only have about 40 minutes, and we have lots to talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the great, the brilliant, the most wonderful EJ Fagan. Hello, Doctor.
Hi, Doctor.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Beautiful day out here in Chicago. We have a nice week lined up, so I'm recording outside.
It's beautiful. Now, is that on your property, or is that?
This is our wonderful porch. We have a wonderful deck right out here, and so it's our backyard right there, and yeah, it's great.
Oh, that is awesome! Because without seeing the houses, which I can see the house in the background with the brick and the bulb and everything, it looks like a college campus. Yeah,
well, you know, it's all built in 1940s very cheaply. These are very poorly built houses around here. You used to order them out of the Sears catalog.
Oh, that's awesome.
But what used to be cheap is now charming. And it's a very charming place.
It looks great. All right. I'm going to have to come out one day.
Absolutely. You're always welcome. Yankees are in Chicago for a week this summer. They're doing 4 days, I think, against the Cubs and 3 days against the White Sox, all without leaving town. Which is
that's
crazy.
Cool.
Right? Like, they're going to get to know the town like real well. Like, if you want to do some Yankee hunting, not like for sport, but like to see them and say hi. You could do it in Chicago. Just figure out where they're staying, and over the course of a week, you'll find them somewhere.
That is awesome. That sounds great. Speaking of Yankee hunting, the Yankees right now are hunting the Los Angeles Angels. Aaron Judge hit a home run. We're recording this at about 7:30 ahead of time just to make sure the technology works. Aaron Judge hit a home run. The Yankees are up 2-0. So that's a good start. Yeah. Are you concerned about the fact that they've lost 5 in a row?
Well, first off, did you see the homer?
He crushed it.
That was awesome. That was pretty cool. Look, not great. 5 in a row isn't great. I'll say they've been losing a lot of one-run games. Some of that because their bullpen has been great. But I think broader, when you think about one-run games, they're basically 50-50. And they've been 0-6 in one-run games. And so I think they've gotten a little bit unlucky. I think we can talk about them not hitting. That's a problem. But the team as a whole, I'm not that concerned about because the pitching has been so good. And I think the hitting will come around that I think it's just a bad stretch of games. I'm not in kind of midsummer mode over the last 3 seasons when they were just playing terribly. And there's obviously some things to not be crazy about over this last week. But it does not feel like a team that is collapsing or throwing a season or anything like that right now.
Are you concerned about the manager just still, all these years later, not having any real touch or understanding? He sent up J.C. Escara as a pinch hitter about a week ago. Escara is not a hitter. He was hitting 0.
Yeah.
And Paul Goldschmidt was on the bench. Then yesterday he sends up Ryan McMahon, who swings at the first pitch with the tying run at second, the winning run at first, and again, Paul Goldschmidt sitting on the bench. You can't claim righty-lefty because he gave up the pitcher, nobody, gave up a big hit to Ahmad Rosario. He gave up a home run to Aaron Judge. So it's not like right-handed hitters couldn't hit him. Like, at some point, don't you have to say, like, the manager just seems to make it up as he goes along. He doesn't even know what he's doing.
I mean, like, I'm okay with weird decisions if they work out, right? And it's just, they don't seem to be working out that much. The one that really annoys me is that Ben Rice is sitting tonight.
Yes.
Ben Rice is the best hitter in the majors right now.
Ben Rice is leading the
care.
majors in on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS plus, and a couple of stats on Baseball Reference. I don't even know what they mean.
Yeah, by the way, Paul, your video does freeze occasionally, but your audio is still coming through. I think Ben Rice has been incredible. I think the StatCast page matches everything we're seeing on the field. He's not letting up. It's not like he did it a week ago when he slowed down. Like, Ben Rice has been hot basically every single game. I get playing Goldschmidt, right? Goldschmidt started off the game with a double tonight, right? That's you say Kikuchi, not a great lefty. Goldschmidt's the kind of guy Goldschmidt should feast on. But I think you got to sit Stan. I think that's the move, right? I mean, Stan has been fine this season. He is by no means on a hot Stanton streak where you can't sit him. And I think that Ben Rice is hitting so well right now that I want to see what he can do against lefties, especially not that great lefties.
Right, this would be the guy if Randy Johnson were pitching, you sit him down.
Yeah, Garrett Crochet against the Red Sox, right? I get it. Perfectly fine. Play the righties. I'm sure Rice would love it to not start against Garrett Crochet, right? But that's not Yusei Kikuchi. And I think it's crazy, frankly, that you're not playing him. I get sitting Grisham. I get sitting that all makes sense. But the problem with sitting Rice is that you want him to hit lefties eventually, and if he's this hot, hi, this is Cinco. Hi, Cinco. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, Cinco's been playing outside today. He also smells like finger paint. So he's gonna go in, and we're gonna put him to bed after this podcast. But yeah, I don't get it. He's the hottest hitter in the world. What are you doing? It makes no sense to me. I get that he had platoon splits, but it's not like he had a 150 batting average against lefties last year, right? He hit lefties okay last year.
But you have to eventually learn how to hit lefties.
Yeah, and I actually would defend him if its rationale was not player development, right? I get you want to win the game, you're on a losing streak, you put the best team on the field. I just don't think this is the best team in the field. I think Giancarlo Stanton, who did not have big platoon splits last year, and hasn't really mashed lefties for a couple of years, I think he should sit. And frankly, it probably for Stanton's interest to sit occasionally, right? To get some rest, whatever. Again, he's not that hot right now, and Rice is. So yeah, I think that's a loser move. It really annoys me. I'm not really worried about too much else that Aaron Boone's been doing yet. It's early. I don't know how much to blame him for Ryan McMahon not making adjustments, Jose Caballero. That's probably ultimately not on him. Maybe the hitting staff, the hitting coach, a little bit. But again, I don't want to overreact. It's 2 weeks. It's April 13th. Even with an early start to the season, it's a little early, I think, to be all that concerned.
I think Cinco wants to be part of the podcast.
I think he wants a quesadilla. Yeah. So but there are just some of these unforced errors that don't make a lot of sense to me. I'm with you. Some weird pinch hitting decisions. Again, I don't see why Goldschmidt is staying on the bench as much as he is. You have a very flexible bench. You can pinch hit him for Jazz Chisholm or someone else late in the game and replace him and have other guys kind of move around. It's a little weird.
A lot weird. So, everybody's saying there's a lot of time, and there is a lot of time. It's April 13th. We got all the time in the world, yada, yada, yada. I get it. And everybody plays to the back of their baseball card eventually. I get it. But which player, pitcher, hitter, could be anybody, won't bounce back?
I'm concerned about Ryan McMahon. He looks awful. And he looks awful on defense. You wonder if there's an injury. It's very unlike him, right? McMahon has, even last year when he really wasn't hitting with the Yankees, he was a very, very steady defender. He was great defender, obviously great defender. And he's made just some bad plays. And I wonder if maybe preparing him at shortstop interrupted him. Maybe the new swing made him I don't really know what's going on. But I'm concerned about him because if he's not a Gold Glove defender, he's not a major league player, right? He was a worse hitter than Anthony Volpe last year with the Yankees. That's not high praise.
And he's never been a league average hitter, ever, not once.
But he's been a league average player because he has been a really good defender. And he's hitting poorly enough now that it's not even in the realm of where a good defense can make up for it. So I think he'll come around. But I mean, even really since the day they traded for him, he has not looked good at the plate. They're messing with his swing. I heard James Rosen basically say, "Give it time; it's going to work." Part of me wishes they hadn't done it. Like I'll take the 680 OPS guaranteed, right? But right now it's looking rough. So I pretty much everyone else I think is going to bounce back, but McMahon is a little rough right now.
So if he doesn't bounce back, how do you fix third base if you're the Yankees?
You don't. I mean, Ahmed Rosario is your other choice. I like that Ahmed Rosario. You know, the Boone started him against a righty that turned out really well. Probably is a decent enough defender. I haven't really seen the numbers too much to tell, but he has a long history of not hitting righties, and I don't think it's going to change magically this season. I think you take, if he hits a righty, that's great, but like this is a guy who's on this team to hit lefties. And so that concerns me. There's no one on the farm. We can talk about some other players where there's some room on the farm to make some differences. There's no room. There's no one on the farm waiting for him. You're not getting George Lombard Jr. up anytime soon. He's getting paid $16 million, and so it might be hard to get rid of him. I mean, it's a rough situation right now.
Before the season, there was a lot of talk about the Yankees should extend Jazz Chisholm right now. Give him the big contract. Let's get him.
Yeah.
And he has gotten off to a horrific start. And so I want to ask you, is it still time to give Jazz an extension? And then I want to ask you about his admitting that he didn't know the rules of the game.
The worry about Jazz, right, to me, is that he is this incredibly physically talented player with a lot of swing and miss, basically, right? And last season he's had a lot of swing and miss, but he still was able to overcome it by when he hit really well, played really good defense, which I think, that weird couple of plays notwithstanding, he still looks fine. But you just wonder, like, man, if this guy loses a little bit of athleticism, is he still a major league player? And Cinco loves to play with the keyboard, so we're gonna bring him up here, but then bring him inside in a second. Is he still a major league player? And I don't know. I don't know if I want him long term because of this. I look at the contract that Nico Horner just got. All right, buddy, we're going down. The contract that Nico Horner just got. It wasn't that much money. Second basemen are not particularly well paid in baseball. And Jazz said he wanted like $350 million or something like that, which seems unlikely to me. I think Chisholm is. It's concerning. You look at his StatCast page right now, and it's rough. It's real bad. It's not like, for example, Trent Grisham, who I think is probably getting a little unlucky in the field. Jazz Chisholm is bad right now. I wonder if you sit him. I wonder if you bench him. I wonder if you IL him. Like I don't know. Like there's got to be some. I think at some point there's some solution. I think about when he got injured last year, and one thing he said is while he was not able. We have some noise in the background. I think he was injured last year, and he said he came back. He said, I learned that if I swing at 70%, I can actually be better. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, I think about those comments before the preseason where he's talking about going 50-50, and I wonder if he just forgot his own advice. And maybe 70% Jazz needs a comeback. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like the guy. I think he's a great person to have on the team. He's a lot of fun. But I 7-8 year deal, that seems kind of scary to me.
Seems scary to me too. I agree. What do you think about the fact that he said he didn't understand the rules for a double play?
I don't know. I think it's a brain fart, probably either the rule and or the comment to the media. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I mean, if you didn't know what you were teaching, what would your department chair say?
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm teaching quite a lot.
I don't believe a word of it. There's no way. That's not true.
I do admit that very often to my students. Like, I don't know. Look,
no, that's just somebody being fun and having fun with their students.
I think it's less important each individual play that he makes or what his explanation is for it than if he's able to, if like the numbers are good. And right now the numbers are good. He's got great range. Like even though he's had some high profile plays he hasn't done well on, I still think he's a pretty good defender. And I don't think defense is the problem. I think hitting is the problem. And I don't think we'd be talking about this if he was hitting like Jazz Chisholm.
like Chisholm should. So Grisham, you mentioned Grisham. Right now, he's had 45 at-bats. He has not put up the numbers. He never put up the numbers in his entire career till last year. Miraculously, he had a big year. The Yankees extended him for $22 million for this year. A lot of people were against that idea. I've never been a big Grisham guy. But he's had 45 at-bats.
Just a home run.
Did he? Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
So how many at-bats do you give Grisham? He's got 45.
Have you seen his StatCast page?
I have not. I haven't looked at a StatCast page.
I'm going to give you a link right now, and I want you to answer your own question for me. So I'm going to put a link in our chat, and you can go and check that out. The reason is this is, again, it's early, and I think it's a fair question that you have, right? That fair question is, was last year fake or real? Or rather, was last year the only good season he'll ever have, and will he revert back to kind of his career norms? And one other reason why his numbers might be down is just bad luck, right? Small sample size, bad luck, that also happens. So do you have that page open now?
I do. He's not doing well in LA sweet spot percentage, and his bat speed is terrible.
But everything else is great.
Good.
Right?
Expected batting average should be 230. 236. That's right about what he hits. Yep. That's actually a little higher. And
last year, those like the sweet spot percentage and the bat speed is similar, right? Like that just wasn't his hitting profile last year. I think he turns it on and he hits it. He swings real hard sometimes. So I think I'm not worried about Chisholm. I think sitting against lefties, that's fine. I think he's slowed down a little bit. I really doesn't seem like he's going to recover his speed. I don't think he's a center fielder after this year. But I mean, you look at those numbers and you go, yeah, this guy's going to hit. This has just been unlucky so far.
So what are the positives right now? The pitching staff, the starting staff, you're excited about that?
I mean, the starting staff's been awesome, right? I mean, I think they have the best starting staff in the majors by like 2 runs, right? Like it's been pretty incredible. The pitching staff, the bullpen has blown some leads, but the actual ERA is great. It's just, unfortunately, I think the high leverage guys are a bit of the problem, but the guys like Paul Blackburn, Ryan Yarbrough, Brent Hedrick have been good kind of to make up for it. And frankly, the starting staff has gotten them deep into games. So yeah, I think you can dream on this pitching staff right now, right? I mean, if you think about what Max Fried is doing right now, I think he looks fantastic. Even though Schlittler gave up some runs, didn't walk anybody, still had really good stuff. Like, again, sometimes this is going to happen, and when you're not scoring runs, then giving up 3 runs in 5 innings feels terrible. But Schlittler was great. Again, he still hasn't walked anybody or given up a home run, I don't think. In fact, I believe has the Yankees starting staff not given up a home run yet? Is that the stat? I forget what it is. Ryan Weathers just after having kind of a rough spring had a wonderful start, 8 innings. I think Will Warren's looked really good. I think his stuff actually looks really nasty right now. His sweeper is really, striking guys out. And then, then Lucio looks terrible. And I think now you're just in your head going like, Carlos Rodon comes back, Garrett Cole comes back, and if these guys are all healthy, like that is an incredible staff. It honestly probably means the Yankees might wait on Cole a little bit. Right, because if everybody's healthy, they're not really in a rush.
Yeah, but they always act like they're in a rush. They don't have a great history, and it's Garrett Cole.
Like Garrett Cole was like throwing 98 in his like bullpen side session equivalents in spring training, right? I mean, they said like, oh no, he's not actually ready to go out there, but he's throwing 98. He's looking great, right? Like that the Cole is, I suspect, will come back the moment he can. In fact, they didn't even put him on the 60-day IL. So he's eligible to come back earlier than like June 1st, which would have been or late May, which it would have been. And Carlos Rodon apparently is on track for early May. Like I think that's all great, right? Like
I mean, early May is right around the corner too. It's 2 weeks away basically,
right? Like I think I then you look at those guys and you go like, is Ryan Weathers going to get booted from the bullpen? Is Will Warren going to get booted? Like these guys are the Yankees have a really good situation to be in, and I don't think any starting staff really comes close right now. If you look at some of the other top starting staffs in baseball, they're not doing great. Like the Astros are bad, the Mariners are bad. The Dodgers are, I think are doing okay, but like it's I think a huge advantage for them. You can imagine going into the playoffs with Cole, Rodon, Fried, Schlittler, with Will Warren in the bullpen and Ryan Weathers in the bullpen, like that. That's a staff. I will say that I have no confidence in Luis Gil. Luis Gil just looks bad, right? He looks like a mess of a pitcher, and I suspect. I guess he gets sent down. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe they send him down and try to put him in the bullpen and see what happens. But I don't have a lot of confidence in him in the bullpen at this point either.
Is there a world where Luis Gil could net them a third baseman at the trade deadline?
I mean, maybe the problem is if he's bad, he's bad. I can see them make him like a reliever. If you think about, kind of the packages we got for relievers, but he's not that cheap anymore, right? He's in his arbitration years because he won Rookie of the Year. He's only got a couple more years of team control. I just don't think I don't think you're gonna get a lot for him, right? And again, maybe you get an okay third baseman. That's not no one super special. I'm sure you can get a reliever for him, right? The Everson Pereira got us Jose Caballero, right? So I'm sure you can get somebody there. I also I don't know if the Yankees are ready to cut bait on Ryan McMahon yet.
But if it's July, if it's July, maybe. So, all right, let's be super optimistic. You've got Cole back and he's pitching well. You got Rodon back, he's pitching well. Schlittler proves he's the real deal. Weathers is pitching well. Will Warren's pitching well. Clark Schmidt is a couple of weeks away.
We even talked about Schmidt, right? That's crazy.
Right? So let's say all that is coming true. Of the Yankee pitchers that are there, if you have to get rid of one to make a deal, which one do you let go?
I mean, I think Will Warren. I think you get a lot for Warren. Young, reliable, cheap, under contract for a while. If he's having a good season, I could imagine getting a good third baseman for Warren, and I think that's reasonable. You still have other depth in the minors, right? You still have Ben Hess, Elmer Rodriguez, Carlos Agrange as guys who you could call up in AAA. You need to have some depth guys beyond that. So I don't think you need all these starters. So yeah, I think trading from a strength is worth it, but it's got to be for someone good, right? Will Warren is a valuable baseball asset right now, and so you could get something good for him. I can't name any players off the top of my head. But I think you could solve your problem then, but I don't think you do it until the deadline because guys get injured. Right? You don't want to trade Will Warren and then have like 3 guys get hurt. That happens. But I think especially Schmidt, Schmidt's the interesting one there, right? Schmidt's looking good and coming back and healthy. Maybe he's a relief pitcher for the rest of the season. He's going to come back kind of late in the season. Maybe you don't have time to build him up. But Schmidt, like the last couple of years when he's played, has been really good.
He's been a great pitcher. He just can't stay healthy.
Right. And so, comes back from Tommy John. He's in good shape. Do you put him in the bullpen? I don't know. But maybe he can come back earlier if you put him in the bullpen. That's also an option. You don't have to build him up as much. And the Yankees might need that help. And frankly, Schmidt is someone we've always speculated could be an interesting reliever. So I think, look, this is all a good problem to have. By the way, Elmer Rodriguez has been great at AAA. And Grande has had really good stuff at AAA and walk in the ballpark. So we'll kind of see what happens there. But like the Yankees depth is in great shape right now.
When do you bring up Dominguez? He's crushing.
That's the question, right? I mean, he's crushing it, right? He's hitting 340 in the minors. See if he's done anything else tonight. It's interesting. Dominguez, it's only been 12 games or 13 games for him. It was Monday, so he's not playing tonight. He's been incredible. He is not striking out, so he's a 12% strikeout rate. He's a 20% walk rate. Not hitting a lot of home runs, but Dominguez has never hit a lot of home runs. I think that's a misconception. He's a flat swing guy. He has never been a guy who's shown like huge power in the minors. He's been a guy who hits hard line drives. He's 5'9", for instance, right? I mean, you have a lot of leverage at 5'9". But when he's settled in the minors, the thing he has always done is had a high batting average, hit for a lot of really good contact. For doubles, still hit some home runs, like 20, 25 home run pace, that kind of thing. I think he could do that again, right? He's now doing that now that he's settled in at AAA, which the last time he had some extended time at AAA, this is where he left off. And then he had the year in the majors, didn't settle in, eventually got benched by the end of the year because just the Yankees outfield was so good. And now the question is like, do you want to just wait for him to get some reps? And I think I do. Like I think, if you look at Jason Dominguez's like history, he has never really settled in and gotten 100 games at a level. He's either been promoted or hurt. I think that if you care about his defense, if you care about his right-handed swing, I just think you need a little bit of time. And we looked at Grisham's StatCast page. I think that Grisham is fine right now. I think that you take a big defensive hit calling up Dominguez. So I've seen some video of him in the minors this year. He's still not looking good. If somebody gets injured, you call him up, right? I think, frankly, you probably should be a DH. And you hope maybe he learns defense, but like it's been a while. He's so fast, and yet his just judgment out there is not great. There were some stories this spring training about Ahmed Rosario kind of teaching Dominguez like how to work. In a way that I guess the implications of those stories was that Dominguez was not the hardest worker among compared to the typical Major League Baseball player. Harder working than I am, right? But compared to the typical Major League Baseball player, maybe not the hardest worker in the world. Probably comes the territory of being so big and strong and talented when you're 17. But he struggled in the majors and maybe learned that that's something that he has to do. Hopefully that comes through in defense. I don't know if it will, right? I mean, again, he's still not there. It's been a problem for a while. But I think there's a point where you call him up. I don't know when it is, but I think it's. I don't think we're there yet. But if he's saying 350 on June 1st, I mean, even if that means you're sitting Bellinger or whatever, I mean, 350, right? It's hard to argue with that. I still wonder if he gets traded. I don't know if there's a long-term spot for him on the team, right? I mean, next year you're hoping that Trent Grisham's probably gone, and so maybe there's a spot. But is he a center fielder? Probably not. Is Cody Bellinger a center fielder long term? Probably not. He's probably somebody to fill in for. You don't want Judge out there. Spencer Jones, you're hoping can be that guy, but he's striking out a ton this year in the minors again. There's not a lot of good options there. And so I don't like to trade him because I think you need an outfielder, but I also don't know where in the outfield he's going to play. Could you trade him for a center fielder? Maybe, right? But then that doesn't really help you this year because you'll need the center fielder this year. It's a tough spot. And the good news is he's still so young that, it's not a big deal to keep him in the minors for most of the year, right? I mean, he's got plenty of time ahead of him for them to play. And again, I don't think you call him up without playing time.
The great Andy Singer was asked the question on Friday's mailbag about George Lombard Jr. and if he's hitting, when do you bring him up? And Andy said something similar to what you just said. Let him stay at a level and mash and get that confidence for a long time, and then you move him up. Just don't
get
keep
reps.
rushing him. Yeah, get the reps.
Right. Right-handed swing reps is the thing that you could tell in the majors last year he needed. Reps in the outfield. He's had a lot of reps in the outfield. He hasn't looked good. So that I'm more skeptical of. He's had, I think, some pretty good right-handed hitting this year. And so that might be coming around.
Well, that would be cool. EJ, what else do you have? Or do we want to wrap it up here?
It's a good question. What else do we have? Well, the Yankees are up 4-0, which is nice. Hopefully all they really needed was a nice series against the Angels. One thing I'll say is the one reason why I'm also not particularly panicked right now is the American League's looking kind of rough. A lot of the good teams in the American League have had bad starts to the season. Boston's been terrible. I mean, fans are chanting for sell the team right now. They've been so bad. The Mariners, who I think were the consensus best team in the American League entering the season, have really been bad this year. The Rays have been okay, mostly because they swept the Yankees, but before that, they weren't looking all that great. The Blue Jays are all sorts of injured and hurt right now. There's the Yankees. There's a lot of room for them. I mean, you wish that they hadn't squandered the lead that they built up, by losing 5 straight. But it just feels like they're the best team in the American League right now. Now, it also feels like the National League is just way better than the American League right now. If you look at the numbers, the National League is beating the American League when they face each other. So it may not be the greatest news that the Yankees are the best of the worst league. But I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about this team. I think this pitching is going to be really hard to beat.
Well, I hope so, EJ. Cinco is probably asking for you to help put him to bed. I enjoyed listening to the birds in the background as you were
very
talking.
peaceful. It's a very peaceful deck. This is my outdoor office. It's great. I love it.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Start Spreading the News Yankee podcast. And guess what? There were a couple little glitches where either of us froze for a little bit, but the sound kept coming through. So I think we're on the right track. EJ, thank you. And we'll be back again next Monday.
Thanks, Paul.
Have a great day. Thank you, everybody.